Time now for the morning rush. Republican State Representative Bill Ream is proposing plans to tackle the state's crime problem. The legislation would make changes to pretrial detention rules. Right now, the prosecutor has to prove why the defendant is a danger to the community. He wants to shift it to the defense, saying they would have to prove why the defendant is safe to be out on the streets.
The investigation continues for Albuquerque police into a man who had been stabbed and showed up to an APD substation. Officers say that they discovered the man outside of the station on the west side. This is near Cibola High School yesterday evening. When the man was taken to the hospital and had to have surgery, his condition has not been released.
An Albuquerque teen wanted for a double homicide is waking up behind bars this morning. 16-year-old Joseph Tony is accused in the January murders of Ariel Mellum and Jessica Casals Lucero at the Aztec Village Apartments in Montgomery. Tony is also accused of shooting a man 3 times as he tried to run away from the apartment. The man survived. He now faces several charges, including first-degree murder.
State police are investigating an officer-involved shooting in Tucumcari. Details are still limited at this point, but officials say that it happened at the home in the easternmost part of town. There's no word on what led to the officer opening fire. The suspect was arrested and not injured. None of the officers were hurt. Madison.
Most of eastern New Mexico is waking up cooler this morning as a cold front passes through, but the cool temps won't last as a high-pressure system builds in the southwest, warming us up for the weekend.
A Las Cruces woman's guilty plea for Medicare fraud may get her up to 5 years in prison. Kathy Chester, who operated drop-in counseling in Las Cruces, pleaded guilty to fraudulently billing the state's Medicare program for children's counseling. She will have to repay more than $177,000.
New Mexico's governor is asking for millions of dollars in capital funding for a major overhaul of the state veterans home. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham says that she will be requesting $59 million during the upcoming legislative session that would go toward building the updated facilities at the TRC Veterans Home.
The Biden administration is receiving pressure this morning from members of New Mexico's congressional delegation. Both U.S. Senators Ben Ray Lujan and Martin Heinrich, along with Congresswoman Teresa Leger Fernandez, sent a letter to Interior Secretary Deb Haaland. They're asking for a permanent 10-mile buffer between Drilling and Chaco Canyon. Madison.
We have a very mild threat today. This morning as only the eastern part of the state deals with a little bit of wind today, but most of us are sitting mild in the 60s with plenty of sunshine throughout the state.
2 of New Mexico's larger hospitals are officially at crisis standards of care this morning. Presbyterian and UNM hospitals will now focus on the most essential services, delaying anything considered non-medically necessary. Loveless would not say if its hospitals are considering implementing crisis standards of care.
Lobos are adding a new member to the team, one with the health and safety of the fans in mind. More than 8,500 Lobo fans returned to the pit this week to watch the team's first game. After that, Breezy One got to work. UNM partnered with the local company, Build with Robots, to invest in the disinfecting robot.
One more person is dead this morning following the Astro World Music Festival tragedy. 22-year-old Bahardi Shahani is the 9th victim to die. This is after being critically injured in the festival's crowd crush. Now, hundreds of people were injured during the festival. Meanwhile, a 9-year-old boy remains in medically induced coma this morning.
Attorneys for Britney Spears will be back in court today. They'll be asking an LA judge to terminate her conservatorship altogether. The pop icon has not had control of her $59 million estate for 14 years now. It is the first hearing since Britney's father, Jamie Spears, was removed as a co-conservator.
All right, let's go ahead and get a look at that morning drive right now for your Friday morning. There is a minor slowdown on Paseo del Norte near Ventura that you want to look out for this morning. And our KRQE News 13 tracker is heading southbound on I-25 at Montgomery at this point, again showing that traffic is moving smoothly.
All right, finally this morning, an 89-year-old man in Rhode Island has earned his Ph.D. and became a physicist after working toward it for 2 decades. At the age of 70, he started taking undergraduate classes at Brown, one of the Ivy League universities. He defended his dissertation in September after recovering from a serious medical condition. Big congrats to him this morning.
Prestigious title of doctor right there.
On this day in 1994, tropical moisture moving in from the Pacific brought in widespread cold rain. The highest amounts were recorded in Hillsborough and Cloudcroft and 3.75 inches at Beaverhead Ranger Station. Time now for the 5 facts.
We start here with number 5. Tim Harris, the first business owner with Down syndrome in Albuquerque, who became famous for Tim's Hugs, is teaming up with an organization that is saving lives. He is partnered up with Hearts of Joy, an organization that pays for heart surgeries. Part of his mission is extra special. Nearly 50% of children born with Down syndrome have a hole in their heart. They're in urgent need of a life-saving surgery, but it's expensive. That's where Tim and Hearts of Joy are stepping in. So far, they've paid for 37 children to get the life-saving surgery.
And number 4, the Lobos are adding a new member to the team soon, one with the health and safety of the fans in mind. More than 8,500 Lobo fans returned to the pit this week. That was to watch the team's first game. Now, afterward, Breezy 1 got to work. UNM partnered with local company Build with Robots to invest in the disinfecting machine. Right now, Breezy 1 is mapped to spray the seating areas in the restrooms, and the company is now working on getting one for the locker rooms and the suites.
At number 3, we are waking up pretty mild for most of the state with cooler temperatures in the east. Now that cool air won't last as warmer temperatures are on the way ahead of a high pressure system. We can expect to warm up by at least 10 degrees by the weekend.
And number 2, a state lawmaker is now proposing legislation to tackle the state's crime problem. Republican State Representative Bill Ream of Albuquerque is proposing legislation that would make changes to pretrial detention rules. Right now, the prosecutor has to prove why the defendant is a danger to the community if released, but Ream wants to shift it to the defense, saying that they would have to prove why the defendant is safe to be out on the streets. Ream also wants to make harsher punishments for retail crime, felon in possession of a firearm, and making sure that time is not a factor when prosecuting second-degree murder cases.
And finally, number 1, 2 of New Mexico's larger hospitals are officially at crisis standards of care this morning. Presbyterian and UNM hospitals will now focus on the most essential services, delaying anything considered non-medically necessary. The hospitals are being forced to get creative by creating hospital beds in your not-so-typical locations, also relocating individuals from their normal jobs to jobs helping to manage the extra volume and bringing in more help from the outside. Loveless wouldn't say if its hospitals are considering implementing crisis standards of care just yet.